Welcome everybody back to the stream. How about that? All right, now we are up to speed. Okay, we are going to do what I just learned is and has been pretty much a real game changing enhancement for my game for Golf Clash. And that is called the Zoom window installation for iPad. Never knew this existed, okay? So as you can see on my iPad screen, I have the basic grid lines that have been set up by myself for Golf Clash that is free within this iPad. I do not have a jailbroke iPad. It's real basic, simple stuff, but we can do that at a different time. But you can see I have two columns and I have 3 rows, right? So 6 quadrants. And I use those to line up when I'm doing a hook shot, I line that up. And then when I'm doing a slice shot, I line it up with that. And then in most cases, that bottom crosshair, I line up with the rings and I pull to get as precision an adjustment as possible. That's the reason for the grid lines, just like everybody else uses. It's a competitive game. You have many different players playing rookie, pro, expert, and masters, and it's just an intermix, right? They do their best to match up people appropriately, but not in all cases. Especially when you're playing tournaments, there's no matching up. Everybody does what they want, and that's great. No worries. It's a game. It's fun, right? And you want to play against better people so that you get better, or at least you seek out opportunities to get better. And I believe we're bringing you one of those opportunities to improve your game. So, with that being said, how about we get into it? All right, so what you're going to need, number one, is an iPad. So hopefully, if you're watching this and you play on your phone, I can't help you because I do not have an iPhone. I have an Android and I do not play on my phone. It's too small for me. I can't even see. I'm blind as it is and I have to use my glasses all the time now. So I use an iPad and it doesn't matter which iPad. iPad Pro is what I have, but you'll see pretty simple steps to get this done. So step number one, take a look on the screen. Here it is, okay? Step number one is to go to your iPad and go all the way down to the settings app in your iPad and pull up the settings screen. And this is the main screen from settings. So what you'll do is you'll go all the way down to accessibilities and you'll click accessibility. That's step one. Pretty straightforward. So I'm going to leave that up there. Step one is to open your iPad, go to the settings tab, this screen comes up, and you hit accessibility. Okay, that's it. Step two, up in the top right corner of the accessibilities tab is the second one down, second option, the Zoom tab, right? So you find Zoom, okay? Step one was accessibility, you click on it, and then these accessibilities on the right-hand side, these options pull up and you'll see the second one from the top is Zoom. That's your target. Once you do that, you're going to go and click on Zoom and you'll see that the radio button is still off. Okay, so step three is to click on that Zoom, right? You're now into the Zoom category, but to get activity, you need to click on that radio button. So step four is to click on the radio button, turn it green, right? So from not green to green. That's what you do, okay? So I'm just showing you the steps again. Accessibility, Zoom, to zoom without the radio button turned on, to zoom with the radio button turned on. So that's the first 4 steps. Now the 5th step is you want to move down once the radio button's on to the zoom region, okay? And that will show you that, the Windows Zoom is going to be activated, all right? So it's already activated. So what you can do is you'll see on this picture, on this screen picture, that on the left-hand side of this settings page where my initials are, WM, William Morris, you can see that there's a zoom window now, okay, over that. So there you go. So that's what shows up on your iPad, all right? See that little zoom area? That's now what you're going to put over the arrow, the wind arrow, and you're going to blow it up so that it absolutely is in your face and you can do an 1159, a 1201, or a perfect pull. It's a game changer, I promise you. All right, so that is step 5. Step number 6 is to where it says Windows Zoom. That's the area that you want to pick. You don't want to do pin zoom because it'll only do the top third of your iPad. You don't want to do full screen zoom because then you have to power off your iPad to reset it to get back to the normal settings and then go through all these steps again. Just use the bottom zoom window, okay? The third option. Check that little option, all right? So that's your 6th step. And then number 7, you'll see that if you go over to, once all these steps are done, you'll go over to that little zoom window and you see that little box underneath the window. You're going to touch that with your finger, hold it for a second, and then this box will open. A zoom out, a choose region, the resize the lens, choose the filter, and the show controller, and then the zoom in and out bar that you can drag to the right or to the left, okay? But more on that in just a second, all right? So this is what you normally see on your iPad, right? I can't really take a picture of the zoom window until you get down to the bottom of my presentation here. A couple more pictures. But that's normally what you see. It's small. It's hard to see 1159. It's hard to see 1201. It's actually hard to see and get a shaking needle appropriate, okay? Especially as you get higher in Pro, Expert, and Masters. So this is what a normal, non-zoomed in wind arrow looks like. Again, we're all so used to it, right? But now in this picture, you can finally see that we have the zoom window activated, okay? And what you have to do, okay, is you're going to move it around. You're just going to grab the window and move it as you go. You can move it anywhere on the screen, but you want to put it over that wind app, okay? And then what you do, so there's the wind, or the zoom window. There is that little button we were talking about. If you press that little button, that button is actually going to open up these options again, okay? Once you're in the game and it's overlaid, all right? So you're going to have the option to zoom out, choose a region, resize the lens, choose a filter, show the controller, or the slide bar. Now, what you're going to do, 2 or 3 things. Number 1, you want to resize the window, okay? So if you go back to a couple of pictures, see how narrow and tall that is compared to how, let's say, short and fat that window is? That's because I've zoomed in significantly, and to get the wind arrow within that window, I had to make it shorter and fatter without getting too aggressive, and have an easier opportunity to understand the wind angles and the pull angles when I'm playing, okay? So you'll hit that little white space bar underneath the window for a second, and this window will open. So what you can do when it says resize lens, you click on those words, resize lens, and what should happen is you should get 4 corner little round dots, and then you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So you should have a total of 8 dots all the way around. So you can drag it up, you can drag it at an angle, you can drag it to the side, you can drag it down to the corners, all of that. And that's your resize lens, where whenever you want to resize it after you zoom in, you can size it to fit your wind arrow, okay? And that's how you size the wind arrow. And of course, the slider bar is what you use to make the arrow bigger or smaller to fit into your window. Or you can resize the lens or the window to fit the size of the arrow that you've chosen, okay? But don't get too crazy, because it starts to hamper your play on certain shots if it gets too big, all right? Trust me from experience. But again, let me see back here. All right, so you can see that I haven't zoomed in or out of that, but here it is zoomed in. Again, I can't show you during the game because it won't activate the zoom window and take a picture of it during a game, okay? So this is the best I can do for you. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to, if you've not already done this, I want you to follow these instructions, and let's go over them one more time. Okay, step 1, open up your iPad, go to the settings section. This window pops up, go to accessibility. Once you go to accessibility, you're going to see on the top right, second option down, the zoom option. Click on that. Step 3, turn on the radio button, make it green, like that. Once you do that, you're going to, at step 4, you're going to go to the zoom region. Click on that. Once you click on that, you're going to have the third option down, which is the zoom window. And that's when that little window pops up on your screen. Once you do that, then you're going to click on that little white little button at the bottom middle of the window, and you have these options. So you can start resizing it, or you can start using the slider bar. All those other options don't mean anything. Just don't even worry about them. The only options you want are resizing the lens and the slider bar for a zoom in or a zoom out. Again, these are just the pictures of a normal in-game arrow. This is a normal in-game arrow with the zoom original zoom box around it. And you can see right here, as you pull that zoom window box down, it will go over that 2.5 mile an hour wind number. And if you do that, you're not going to be able to know what the wind is. So you have to be very careful on the size of your arrow and making sure that window doesn't impede your visibility of how many miles per hour or that numerical value is. 2.5, 3.1, 4.5, whatever it may be. And then again, there's the little option bar, we'll call it, where once you click that, these options come up, and then you can resize and then increase, zoom in, zoom out as appropriate, and get your wind arrow appropriate. Now, I'm going to go back. Here's what we have to do. You're going to have to take a snapshot of 2 of your games. Any shot, okay? And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to bring that wind arrow, okay, or that zoom window to each of the pictures, okay? And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to put that that zoom window over that wind and that 2.5 arrow, all right, and size it appropriately and get it to where you want it to be. Then what you have to do is you have to go to your next game and at a different angle. And what's the best angle to do is going away from you at an angle and going the opposite angle, okay? I chose these 2 angles because, as you can see, the wind is coming at us, but then it's going away from us. So I chose that angle so that it'll be consistent. So you zoom in on both pictures. Zoom in on that, and then you close that window out and you go to this window to make sure it's identically placed. Okay, so you have to validate the placement of your window in the game, all right, as an overlay. Once you do that, you don't have to touch it ever again, and you'll have a significant advantage over some of the competitors that do not know this trick, all right, for iPad, of course. All right, man, that's it. That's a lot of information I've put out there. I hope it makes sense. I know you don't want me to go through it again. I just am, I want to help everybody, right? I want people to play well. I want them to have a benefit of knowledge of the game, and I want them to utilize every tool possible to get themselves better, to get them further in the game so that they can promote themselves from a rookie to a pro, to an expert, to a master's, and just enjoy the game. All right, everybody. That's all I'm going to, go over for this evening. And I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. And guess what? You have the Easter tournament tomorrow. So starting tomorrow. So we'll get after that. And I hope you'll have enough time to put the Zoom window on your iPads if you haven't already got it on there, and give yourself an opportunity to improve your game. All right. Best of luck, everybody. All right, everybody, welcome to On the Screws Golf. We'd like to thank you for being here on the stream. So what? And welcome to DCF&P, baby. And again, thank you so much for attending, and please consider subscribing.